Assalamualaikum, my name is Muhammad Izzuddin. I will talk about introduction. Thermodynamics relate to the physics which deal with work and energy of a system. It is the study about the interchange of the heat and work between the system, and its running during a process also relate to the change in the fluid properties. Marcet model has been developed for investigating the relationship between the pressure and the temperature of saturated steam in equilibrium with water at all pressure between atmosphere pressure. The measure value of the slope at the graph delta T divided by delta P saturated obtained for the practical result can be compared with corresponding value calculated from the data in table 1. Okay, next for the basic theory, the value of specific volume of saturated vapor Vg and enthalpy of saturated vapor HFG can be obtained from the steam table A5 provided. Gaseous clearance state delta T divided by delta P saturated equal to T multiplied by different Vf Vg divided HFG equal to TVG divided HFG, which Vf is specific volume of saturated liquid, Vg is specific volume of saturated vapor, HF is enthalpy of saturated liquid, Hg is enthalpy of saturated vapor, HFG is the latent of vaporization.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Muhammad Iqbal Zahin bin Ansam. My metric number is AA200796. I will tell about the procedure of experiment Marcet boiler. First, fill up the boiler with water to a certain level. Next, if the boiler is initially filled with water, open the valves at the level side tube V2 and V3 to check the water level. Pour in additional distilled water if necessary, then close the valves. Third, set the temperature controller to 185 degrees Celsius, which is slightly above the expected boiling point of the water at 9.0 bar. Next, open the vent valve V3 and turn on the heater. Next, observe the steam temperature rise as the water boils. Next, allow steam to come out from the valve V3 for about 30 seconds, and then close the valve. This step is important to remove air from the boiler, as the accuracy of the experimental results will be significantly affected when air is present. Next, record the steam temperature and pressure when the boiler is heated until the steam pressure reaches 6.0 bar. Next, turn off the heater and the steam temperature and pressure will begin to drop. Start to record steam temperature when the boiler is cooled until the steam pressure reaches atmospheric pressure. Next, allow the boiler to cool down to room temperature. Last, record the steam temperature at different pressure reading when the boiler is heated and cooled. That's all from me.
And the system cannot cross the boundary, which suits the condition of the machine. A closed system means the content and energy transfer through the system boundary are impossible. When the water boils in an isolated system, the transaction of the hot steam is not possible, causes an increase in temperature and pressure value. Indistinguishable from the car radiator, the bottle of hot vapor will burst if we open it while it is still hot. This hot vapor can cause a severe injury if it directly touches the user without proper PPE. Steam burns can cause blisters and pain. If we inhale hot steam, we will suffer difficulties of breathing. In this experiment, failure of this foremost step will likely deal with thermal burn by steam, vapor. Other than that, the incorrect measurement value will also occur if we neglect this step. The open valve will permit steam to pass them and brings the hardship to increase the pressure and temperature value. The actual worth will be unalike with the measurement. Hence, this step is critical as it can affect the value measurement along with the burn injury if we neglect it.
Okay, next, I will go to the observation. The results from the properties table are more accurate than the experimental results. The reason for the errors in the reading can be due to difference in purity of water and due to recording the value later than it should be recorded. The time taken to cool down and the time taken to heat up is not the same. Another observation is the time taken to cool down is approximately double of the time taken to heat up. While heating, the molecules join together, gain energy and move from themselves. So the water takes different time periods to increase the temperature, while in cooling, they separate themselves in equal time. So the time period of cooling down remains the same for the whole cooling procedure. Next, for experimental data, firstly, I will explain about table 1. First of all, I will talk about pressure. To get absolute pressure, it is only necessary to increase the gauge value by 1.013. After that, I will explain about the temperature. The temperature will be recorded each time the gauge pressure increase according to the set value. After that, calculate the average for each of these values. After that, calculate the average temperature in Kelvin units. Next, calculate the difference in temperature and pressure for each gauge. After that, the slope is measured using the given formula. Finally, calculate the slope using equation 1. For table 1, different temperature decrease while different pressure has a constant value. Not only that, the values of measure slope and calculate slope decrease. Other than that, its values are increasing. In conclusion, it is found from the calculation. The temperature of saturated steam is directly proportional to the pressure in equilibrium with the water. Disgracing some negligible faults, this experiment can be considered successful. To improve the result of the experiment, it should be carried out at room temperature, switching off all the air conditions, and also by repeating the experiment and taking the average value. If some insulation were kept on the Marcet boiler to reduce its loss, the experiment could be more accurate.